How's it going, YouTube? Broke Boy Tactical here, and I hope that you're having a great day because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite knives of all time. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It's been around for a long time, and they're still making variants of it today, and for good reason. It's still kicking ass in 2023. We are talking about the Cold Steel SRK. There are 3 different variants of this knife, so budget and what you need out of it there's really no excuse why you shouldn't own one of these. This is a fantastic knife at any price range. So please hit like and subscribe, and let's dive into this knife. I chose the stainless version, the Sanmai VG-10 version. Now, this may not be the model for you. If corrosion resistance is your deal, if you live in an area like me, I live in Texas, and it's humid a lot. SK5, which is a Japanese tool steel, and CPM 3V, which is an American powdered tool steel, which is super steel, they do not have the best corrosion resistance. They are both super tough, way tougher than this, but they don't last out here. They don't just get patinas, they rust where I live. So 3V is not my friend. SK5 has even worse corrosion resistance than 3V, and it holds a worse edge, so it's definitely not for me. It's by far, in my opinion, I think SK5 and 3V are pretty similar in toughness. I really think SK5 actually still might be tougher. It's more similar to 1080 high carbon steel in terms of strength. And CPM 3V gets compared to 1095 a lot. And I know that 1080 is tougher, but it holds a worse edge than 1095. It's maybe kind of confusing, but these all 3 come in at different price ranges. But let's exclude the SK5 version and say you're not on a budget, just to keep this simple, because we have 2 different tool steels and it's stainless steel. So let's eliminate one of them right off the bat. Let's say you're not on a budget. You're looking at 2 different knives. For one, the Sanmai VG-10 model is the only model that, of my knowledge, that is still made with a hollow grind. So if you want a hollow grind instead of a saber grind, that's something to consider with this model. The CPM 3V version is going to be tougher. It's a powdered super steel. There's no way of getting around it. Now, I could be wrong. We're going to get into why I love this knife here in a second, but CPM 3V is some really tough shit. And for what this knife is built for, being 3/16 of an inch thick, basically being a glorified pry bar with an edge and a tip, that's really what this knife is. CPM 3V, if your conditions are right for it, I'm going to recommend you ball out, spend the extra $60, and go, instead of going with the stainless, get the CPM 3V. But the reason you might want to go with the stainless is because this is not as fragile as you think it is. Let me explain something here. There are 3 different types of steels. There are stainless steels, tool steels, and carbon steels. Carbon steels have very poor corrosion resistance, but they are very tough, very flexible, and have good impact resistance. But they also don't hold an edge very well. So then you have stainless steels, opposite side of the spectrum. You have very hard steel. Hard and tough are 2 very different things. Stainless steels are hard steels. They hold an edge much better, but in theory, they're more brittle. They're more prone to fracture and breakage under impact and stress than carbon steels. So this is a Sanmai blade, and it's a forging technique similar to Damascus. Now, don't shy away if you're new to knives. If you're kind of new to knives, you might associate Damascus with crap, or you might think it's the best thing in the world, and that they're both incorrect. Damascus is not a type of steel. It's a forging technique. Just like Sanmai, it's a forging technique. So when you see VG-10 Sanmai, that means it's VG-10 that has been forged in the Sanmai technique. And when you see good Damascus, you'll see, like for instance, Civivi makes some decent Damascus. You'll see Damascus / 9CR18 MOV, meaning it's 9CR18 MOV stainless steel, but it's been forged Damascus. You get it? So what the Sanmai technique means in Japanese is 3 pieces. You see this line here? I can get a better view of that. You can barely see that. Come on, come on, come on. Why are you not? Let me move the light here. There we go. You see this line? There we go. That's much better. Now you can definitely see it. You see that line? Everything under that line, meaning the edge, is VG-10. Everything above that line, meaning that the whole stock of the blade, is a high carbon stainless spring steel, is what Cold Steel tells us. And I think that is great. Think about it. This is an impact tool. Stainless steels are, even if they're high in carbon, I mean, that's what, carbon steels, even if a stainless steel is high in carbon, meaning it's going to be inherently tougher than other stainless steels, this is a spring steel. Spring steels do what? Absorb shock, impact. they absorb impact. They used a spring steel, a high carbon stainless spring steel for the stock and the frame of this knife, while giving you a very, if heat treated correctly, VG-10 has very good edge retention, especially in a knife like this. When it comes to sliceability, VG-10's okay in terms of edge retention, but I've used the hell out of this knife, and it's still performing like the day I got it. This has a 30-degree edge on it. Yeah, it's pretty aggressive, but it also has a hollow grind and 3/16 inch stock. This is a thick boy. This is a jack of all trades knife. A lot of people are going to tell you, oh, well, it's not very slicey. That's not necessarily what this knife is for. This knife does everything that a knife should do and things that knives shouldn't do, like prying open doors and stabbing through car doors and metal. You can do that with SRKs. So don't shy away from the stainless model if you're worried about durability, because that's honestly, when I was looking at this, I was like, why would they make a stainless SRK? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of the SRK? You know, and I realized that Sanmai is not only inherently a very strong way of making knives. They used a high carbon stainless spring steel, which I just think is great. So with Sanmai, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the toughness and flexibility of something high in carbon, but the edge retention of something harder. You get my point here? You're getting the best of both worlds with this knife. So if corrosion resistance is an issue to you, I don't think you should shy away from this model and just get the CPM3V version. I think this one will perform for you just as well. Plus, you're going to have the added corrosion resistance. If, like I said, if that's an issue to you like me, that's something to really consider. This will cost you at any licensed retailer about 140 bucks. Yes, you can go on Amazon and find them around 100 bucks, but in my experience, with cold steels off Amazon, you run the risk of getting a factory second when the deal seems a little too good to be true. And when a third of the price is knocked off and they're selling you a new SRK for like a third of the price, that might be a red flag for you. It may not be. You may not care if your knife's a little wonky, but I recommend you go and get the guaranteed legitimate article from a licensed retailer. 140 bucks, you'll be happy you did. I still think it's worth it. The CPM3V version is around $200. The Cold Steel SRK SK5 version is around $44, making it absolutely bar none the best value in the lineup. But again, it comes in a black coating finish, so if you're like, oh, well, that makes the corrosion resistance fine. Cold Steel's coating is crap. They make excellent knives, but I'm saying this, sorry, Cold Steel, you really need to work on your coating. It's boo-boo bullshit. I can remove it with low grit sandpaper and no paint thinner, no nothing. I can just sit there if I want to take the time and just remove it quickly and easily, like no elbow grease. It's not very good. So keep that in mind. But if you're on a budget, there's nothing wrong with the SK5. That is the SK5 version. That is a super tough knife. You're probably going to have a problem with edge retention. SK5 blows on edge retention, but it'll be a breeze to sharpen as well. So this may have been kind of rambly. Take everything I said into consideration. There are 3 different models, depending, for one, if you're on a budget, the SK5 version is the only one for you. But if you're not on a budget, take your geography into consideration, and if you are in a humid environment, don't think you're without it. Don't think you have to settle for an SRK that's going to rust and cost you $60 more when you can get an extremely tough stainless steel version. I stand behind this knife. I've used the fuck out of it, and it's holding up great. See you next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.